Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. First call, Jets may have nabbed Steelers draft pick, another veteran WR hits free agency, 18-game NFL season looming. In Wednesday's first call, another wide receiver is available for the Pittsburgh Steelers to sign if they want him. The NFL may get an 18-game season sooner than you think. It turns out that the Steelers are very fortunate Roman Wilson was still on the board when they selected him in the third round. A star player will not be playing at PNC Park next week. And a couple of other players in Indianapolis stood out during Paul Skeen's latest start. You've heard about many of the wide receivers tied to the Steelers in trade rumors. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Courtland Sutton, Michael Thomas, DJ Chark, Brandon Cooks, and even DK Metcalf have been dangled as potential acquisitions. Here's another name for the list, Zay Jones. He was released by the Jacksonville Jaguars on Tuesday. That move saves the Jags $4.49 million. The Jaguars drafted LSU receiver Brian Thomas Jr. with the 23rd overall pick Thursday. So that made Jones expendable. The 8-year veteran was limited to just 9 games last year because of a troublesome knee injury. He totaled 34 catches, 321 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The previous year, Jones had 82 catches for 823 yards and 5 scores. Jones also had some legal issues in November. He was charged with misdemeanor domestic battery after an argument with the mother of his child. However, charges were not pursued, and the case was dropped. Not only is an 18-game season likely to happen for the NFL, it may occur before the end of the current collective bargaining agreement. The CBA expires in 2030. Mark Mask of the Washington Post writes that NFL owners largely support NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell's preference for an 18th game and might push to make it happen before the CBA expires 6 years from now. The league and owners have not initiated a new set of formal discussions with the NFL Players Association, Mask wrote. But some owners and league leaders have been contemplating such an effort for months. Mask says the NFL Players Association is readying itself for the conversation. I strongly believe they will bring something to the NFLPA in the next 12 to 18 months, Mask said, citing a representative on the players' side. During a recent appearance on The Pat McAfee Show in front of a crowd at the draft, Goodell said, "I'm not a fan of the preseason, and I don't think these fans like it either. I'd rather replace a preseason game with a regular season game any day. That's just picking quality. If we get to 18 regular season and 2 preseason, that's not an unreasonable thing. Maybe not. We'll see if the NFLPA agrees. What it will require, though, is likely a second bye week and a season that won't end until President's Day weekend." Goodell spun that as a positive because that would put Super Bowl Sunday on the night of a 3-day weekend for anyone who gets that day off anymore, I suppose. Tim Benz, assume huge gap between what Steelers are saying about WR search and what's really going on. Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Omar Khan appeared on Tuesday's Pat McAfee Show with an update on his team's hunt for a veteran starting wide receiver. The update is that there is no update. That conversation has been in high gear since Deontay Johnson was traded to Carolina in early March, creating a significant hole at wideout on the Steelers' depth chart. It ramped up Monday when former Steeler turned CBS Sports analyst Bryant McFadden sent out a tweet suggesting that Khan was getting close to making a splashy move of some sort. On McAfee's show, Khan tamped down that speculation, at least as it related to specific rumors about 2 potential star receivers on the San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. "I heard about it. I didn't exactly see it," Khan said of the rumors. "There's nothing going on right now. I'm not exactly sure what the verbiage was or what was reported. But there is nothing to report." When I hear Khan claim there is nothing to report, my assumption is that there actually is something to report, and he's just avoiding that confirmation. Or there is nothing to report because there were conversations with the 49ers that didn't go anywhere. Or there are ongoing conversations, but they just aren't with the 49ers. My suspicions were advanced by a post from Denver-based NFL reporter Benjamin Albright on Tuesday, stating that the Steelers have been actively calling teams about a receiver. Sutton is Broncos receiver Courtland Sutton, who has been linked to the Steelers in trade banter since he decided to avoid voluntary workouts while hunting for a contract extension. As for DK, that's Seahawks star pass catcher DK Metcalf. At 26 years old, Metcalf has recorded 3 1,000-yard receiving seasons. In 2023, he posted 1,114 yards and 8 touchdowns. A two-time Pro Bowler entering his sixth season, Metcalf is slated to make $24.5 million against the salary cap this year and $29.5 million in 2025. Via overtcap.com, even a post-June 1 deal would result in $7.5 million in dead money for the Seahawks, despite $17 million in savings. That said, unless things have changed since last summer, Metcalf and Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson maintained a good relationship dating back to their time together in Seattle prior to Wilson's trade to Denver in 2022. So maybe that's a story to track, but the issue of compensation from the Steelers would no doubt be significant. Regardless, the Steelers have to do something at wide receiver. Acquiring Roman Wilson in the third round of the draft is a nice addition. But, as a rookie, he projects as a third receiver working out of the slot. The Steelers need, at minimum, a complementary number 2 running partner for George Pickens or potentially a primary target that can be a consistent threat outside of the numbers as some of those listed above could prove to be. I expected a replacement for Johnson to be in place by now. Granted, the Steelers have made plenty of moves when it comes to trades and signings well after the draft and before Game 1 of the regular season. Steelers open eyes with top undrafted free agent CB signing. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't draft a cornerback before Day 3 of the 2024 NFL Draft. But they selected one in the 6th round and according to NFL.com's Chad Reuter, the Steelers landed the very best cornerback still available after the draft ended. West Virginia's Beanie Bishop Jr. Reuter ranked the top 27 cornerbacks who went undrafted in the 2024 class. He rated Bishop at number 1. Steelers.com's Teresa Varley reported on April 27, about an hour after the last selection in the 2024 draft, that the Steelers signed Bishop. Bishop played one season for the Mountaineers, recording 67 tackles, 54 of them solo stops, and 4 interceptions while starting 13 games, Varley wrote. He earned first-team All-American honors, Walter Camp and FWAA, and second-team All-American honors, Associated Press, Sporting News, AFCA. He was also selected All-Big 12 Conference First Team. Prior to West Virginia, Bishop spent 4 seasons at Western Kentucky and 1 year with Minnesota. Playing games in parts of 6 college seasons, Bishop posted 170 total tackles, 7 interceptions, and 29 pass defenses in 57 contests. Steelers Depot's Matthew Marksey and Steelers Now's Nick Farabaugh were highly complimentary of Pittsburgh, adding what Reuter labeled as the best undrafted cornerback of the 2024 draft class. Bishop lacks size at 5'9", 180 pounds, but he pops off the table, Marksey wrote. He certainly did last season with 4 interceptions and a nation-leading 24 pass defenses. The Steelers and head coach Mike Tomlin always covet such players with ball skills. Marksey added that Bishop has limitations as a tackler and in coverage, but that he's a player to watch this offseason. Undrafted free agents are obviously not going to be perfect prospects. There has to be a reason they went undrafted. But as far as finding value for the position at the conclusion of the draft, the Steelers appear to have done that with the Bishop signing. Upon his arrival in Morgantown, Beanie Bishop instantly displayed a high level of confidence, but his spirit only increased after proving his true potential as a Mountaineer, Farabaugh wrote. He's then put that on display at the East-West Shrine Bowl, as his focus is on impressing NFL scouts enough to be drafted. Bishop was one of the standouts at the Big 12's Pro Day. He ran a 4.3940 and a 4.15 20-yard shuttle, which would have been among the best times at the NFL Combine. Given his projection in the slot, the Steelers had to take note of Bishop's level of testing. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Beanie Bishop? Leave your opinion in the comments.